Hey guys, this is Heather. Today we're gonna make some cookies that you can have ready for treats for the holidays, maybe to take to your office as an alternative to all of the butter-rich cookies that float around these days. And the star of these cookies is going to be fresh cranberries. I do a lot of recipes for cookies that have dried cranberries. Fresh are pretty much my favorite part of a holiday meal made into cranberry sauce, and I thought it'd be fun to make some cookies with fresh cranberries instead of dried. You can also use frozen, and this is a great way to use up if you have extras or if they're starting to go bad or something like that. Perfect pair to cranberries is always orange. I'm going to use a fresh orange, but you can also use orange juice or maybe even some little mandarins. We're gonna start with a classic cookie base. This is all I have left of my coconut oil, so I'm also gonna use some Earth Balance. Some kind of dark sugar. Coconut sugar is my favorite. And then you wanna mix this together until it's fully combined. You may need to melt your coconut oil, or if you're using a vegan margarine, you may need to melt it a little bit. In winter, sometimes they solidify a little bit more, or I usually keep my coconut oil in the fridge in the summer and then it's still super solid. So just keep mixing until they come nicely together. If you need to melt it, sometimes what I do is I put it on the back burner of my stove where it vents out. So while the oven is preheating right now to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, there's some heat coming out that I could melt the oil on. And we're gonna get our orange in here. So you wanna take the zest off the skin. I'm using a zester, you could use a microplane. So much flavor in the zest. I don't know if you can see the juice flying out as I do this. So like I said, you could use mandarin oranges, clementines, you could use a lemon, you could use maybe grapefruit if you want. I went with the classic cranberry orange flavor pairing. But do what suits you. Actually, I have a lime in the fridge and I considered using that, but I had already written the recipe for orange, so going classic for you. Now, you could do the whole zest of the orange if you want, but we only need half, and we're gonna cut this in half and get the juice out. Using the orange juice means that we get lots of nice vitamin C in here, we get lots of wonderful flavor, and we can use less oil or margarine than we normally would in a cookie. Now it does mean that these cookies are gonna have a softer texture than some that might be based purely on oil, but if you think of them as like pillowy little muffin tops, then they are just as satisfying as the super rich cookies. A little splash of vanilla never hurt anybody, although you can easily leave it out and it won't change the flavor too much. Oven is preheated. We are ready for flour. This is white whole wheat, which acts just like all-purpose flour. If you can't find that, you could use spelt, which is lovely. Or if you like, you could just use a white all-purpose flour, but the nutrients will be quite a bit less than the whole wheat. That is baking soda. And here's what I like to do. To save an extra bowl, I just mix together the baking soda and the flour together. And then what you want to do is mix this. Oh, you need a pinch of salt. You know, cookie recipes often put a measurement for the salt, and I find, particularly with vegan cookies, that it just winds up tasting salty. So I always just put a pinch of salt. Okay, so you should have a thick cookie dough here. It kind of looks like a thick muffin batter because of the orange juice. Don't overmix it, otherwise the cookies will get tough. Push that to the side, and then we're gonna get our cranberries ready. We only need half a cup, give or take. If you make your half cup heaping when they're whole, and when you chop them, it'll be half a cup. And I'm just gonna chop them up really quick in my Cuisinart hand blender attachment. This little mini food processor is so handy. Just pulse it a few times, and then I've got some perfectly chopped cranberries. So I'm just gonna dump that into the cookie batter and then fold it. So folding just means minimally stirring. You're actually folding the batter over the ingredient. If you want to use up more cranberries, feel free to double batch this. It works perfectly in a double batch, and then you could use the other half of your orange, but I'm trying not to have too many cookies on hand at the moment. So then just spoon this onto your prepared cookie sheet, line it with parchment, or I've got my silicone Silpat mat. They'll be a little bit sticky, so you just need to spread them out a little bit like that. Yum! These smell amazing already. That orange zest and the cranberries, yum. So once you get these laid out, then you're gonna pop them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes until they're domed on the top and a little bit browned around the edges. You know, when it's vegan, you can eat the batter. These are gonna be good cookies. Like so. And I am showing you an example of how not to space your cookies. They do need a little bit of space, so that one that I squeezed in the middle is crowding the others out. But that's okay, because we can just pull them apart when we lift them up. Give them a few minutes to cool though, because they will be super soft. And then just carefully lift them up, and you can transfer them somewhere to cool fully. Or just lift them along the sides. Yes. Yes. I love fresh cranberries so much. Yum. These are not going to last long around here. Not long at all. I'm going to be making another batch very soon. All right, I hope you enjoy those cookies as much as I do. Leave me a comment down below with any questions or ideas you have for tweaks that you might make for your cookies. You can, of course, get the recipe down below. And this recipe is part of the December calendar, so if you want more vegan recipe ideas, go check that out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Go have a wonderful, healthy, cookie-filled day. Bye, guys.
Veganook, yeah.